Well, again, welcome. It's great to have you with us. We've been blessed today with all the music and the singing, the grass, and chord hustlers, and all of you. It's great to have a full congregation singing in worship as well. So thank you so much for being here and joining in this celebration. Just a few personal words for myself to begin. It's nice to be here, and I've been here too long. No, I was just thinking about the fact that I've been here over 25 years, and when you're talking the 125th anniversary, that means I've been here over 20% of the life of that church, and that seems like a long time. And then I'm reminded Carol's been playing the organ here since 1950? Well, we're glad to have her today. She's been struggling with her back and stuff, and so it's been a few weeks since you've been here, but sure glad to have you and all of your family here with us today as well. So I won't invite you to come up here to speak because I don't think you want. I can bring the mic down. Yeah. Yeah. Carol.
Way back when at Shirley and LDR. Carol, LDR. All those years of keeping us girls in our wonderful.
LDR stood for what?
Lutheran Daughters of the Reformation. Come on, girls. We're still here. Yes, we are.
I think I'm going to invite Pastor Mo and his wife Joan to come if they'd like to share. And
can I just hold the mic?
Sure.
But you got to stand in front of the camera.
Get in front of the camera.
How was that? I'm notorious for getting too quiet. I don't speak publicly much at all anymore. And it's been 26 years since I've been here. And
Wow.
whatever. 35 years.
I've been here 28.
Anyhow, Carol taught me a valuable lesson at a funeral. It was just time for a funeral to start, and she's at the organ, and I'm sitting up front, the electricity goes on. Carol grabs her books, stands up, walks across to the piano and sits down like it was planned. You know what I mean? She acts like a professional. And I go, in my mind, I guess we're going on. Anyhow, so we had a funeral, and during one of the songs, I went downstairs and the women in the kitchen are just besides themselves because the food isn't ready. One of them looks at me and goes, Pastor, what can you stall? I don't think so, but what we'll do is we'll come back in and sit upstairs until the food's ready. While we were doing the service, the electric company came up, had to change the transformer. Put out a brand new one, got it up and running, and so we only had to wait 15 minutes a day. So I keep looking through the names, and when it said Madison, is there a Nathan here today?
Yeah.
I remember him, and then there was one of the brothers who played softball with us.
John.
Okay. Anyhow, good to see you guys. I often wondered what this church thought of me, okay, and what their opinion was of me, but I never dared ask. So they had a 4th of July celebration at Old Westbrook, and the kitchen band, they sang. And you may have to help with the names. Artist query?
Yes.
Arliss.
Luetta.
Who was the head of it?
Arliss.
Arliss.
She played
Changed
bass.
all the jokes, so they were Pastor Mo jokes. And the group that was sitting by me over there kept looking. Is he laughing? Is he laughing? That's how it started. Okay, one day I walked outside. There's a parking meter in front of my van with a ticket on it. That was one of the Derrickson boys. No, Elton is another story. Okay. So
Tell it.
I am. I'm getting ready for a service, and I'm what they call a walker pastor. So I move around. So I walk down on the steps, and I just happen to look over at the pulpit. There's a timer switch on the pulpit light. So I look at Roger Egan, and I said, Roger, when you confess that you put it there, then you can have it back. Okay? After a year, guess who confessed? Alvin did. He goes, he didn't want to tell me, but he said he was tired of going outside and plugging in and unplugging the Christmas lights, and he wanted his tired of it. Did you actually want to say something? Drew and I did a sermon together where I was at a neighboring church. They didn't know it's my wife. And I had invited her up, this woman that I didn't know to be part of the sermon. She heckled me during the whole sermon. But she's also saved me more than once. She has a beautiful singing voice. So I had to leave the table for her, and I go, Joan, would you please? And she stood up and started. One more, because I want to thank a bunch of you. Hold it close this way. So, there's a church league softball team up here, and they invited me to play. I used to play 4-H, I wasn't any good, but they invited me to play. The first night I played in the outfield, I couldn't see the ball, but I didn't tell them that. Okay? So the next game, they put me in as catcher because I was one of the few guys with good knees. So I fought for the next 5 years. Okay? And first or second night we were there, I think Russ Derrickson, is that right? Played center field. And who pitched? Anyhow, he's out to center field, and the guy hits the ball out to him, and he goes to throw it into home plate. And he had an arm that was unbelievable. Anyhow, so the ball's coming in full. The runner is crossing third base, is a 300-pound guy. And I'm standing on home plate. Do I block the plate or do I get out of the way? The ball just flew in. I knew it was going to come right to me, and it did. Came in, right into my mitt. I looked at that guy and I go, nope, and I moved out of the way. Guess what my going away gift was to those guys? A signed softball. And I still have it. In the last case, we kept it. But it was we won at least once in those 5 years. I was the 9th or 10th batter because I was slow. So some of these guys that after would catch me about third base. I'm serious. And I would go, slow down, you can't pass me, we won't get the run. And you have to slow down, and I didn't get into it. It was fun. good stories. I could go on for a long time. This place gave me a lot of great. By the way, will anybody admit I was in their wedding? Oh, there's one. Oh, two. Three. We had some fun weddings here. I enjoyed it. There's some stories behind them also. John?
I just wanted to say that we have so many great memories from being here. It was a great place. And Missy, you were our favorite babysitter. That's all.
Thank you very much.
Well, I think the desire was to open this up if there were some others who'd like to share some memories of their time here and their family. I mean, I don't know how many of you have looked at the history book. I want to say a big thank you to Diane for all the work that went into that. The pictures, how many pictures are in that book? Did you have a count? No.
Lots.
Lots, and all these different family pages that just wonderful stuff. So I don't know if you're represent one of those families and like to say a word about your picture in there or something. Anybody want to share? Rebuttal time, John. Softball. No.
I'll remind you of a few things.
You'll
We were called the Holy Rollers.
The Holy Rollers.
That wasn't our official name, but that's what other teams called us.
So,
I can add something.
sure.
I'm Bruce Graff. My sister was on this clearing. And we were a family of 8 of us. And 3 of us didn't live in the area. Brother Roger lived in Montana. Dick and Missouri lived in Minneapolis. And just today, first thing I noticed in the bulletin was special music. Because every time my brother Roger would come from Montana, Arliss would get him into special music. Every time he was here. And Dick and I always had such a hard time with that because we never, we're out of town, we'd come to visit, but we never got on special music. Special music.
So, one of my favorite stories from Arliss is talking about coming home and she left one of the kids at church or in. Who got left?
Bradley. I think she left me in Congress too.
Yeah, would you like to? This is a day for special music. Now's your chance.
I don't think you want to go there.
Okay. Well, there have been a lot of good stories I've heard that there was there a funeral where everybody got snowed in and have to.
His dad.
And then everybody remembered Pastor Lloyd Tobiason showing up in his motorcycle for one funeral because when he had a flat tire, I think, on his truck, and so then he.
It was for Selmer Osmond's funeral.
For Selmer Osmond's funeral.
No, he came on his motorcycle.
Yep. Wearing his robes, or that would be.
He was carrying them.
Huh?
I think he was
Carrying them. Okay. Oh, come on. Somebody else. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Lynn Madsen, Norris's eldest daughter. So we've been here a long time. There's Sandy right here. And I remember Sunday school. We were like, what, 8 or 9 students in a class? It was just good. And Bible school and out in the country Bible school. It was a great congregation for growing up. It was great. It was great. Thank you for seeing that.
to the church and tried to start a fire. I don't remember if it was hold out or if he just wanted to burn the church down or what the situation was, but they called us and said he was headed our direction. So Mom said, well, let's invite him in and give him breakfast so we can detain him until the police got here. And there's tons of good memories, like everybody's memories. And a pleasure. And thank you all for coming.
I should invite Elton up here to say something, because he's got all kinds of stories, right? You know, there's a question about whether or not you came and had a root beer float Friday night. You know anything about that?
Very little.
Very little. The cake was not left here last night because they were afraid who else might show up. But anyway, come on, Elton, something about flamingos or pianos or what other stories?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to get even with Pastor Mo. when we moved him into the parsonage, the bed wouldn't fit up the hallway, up the stairs. But what does Pastor do? He shows up with a chainsaw. And it was a joke, but he got people worried. And then another thing is, I was on the law committee when Pastor Mike came, and I'm still receiving somebody asked, how could you possibly call a minister that is a Green Bay Packer fan?
Owner.
Oh, yes. Hard owner.
Pastor Mo saw my stock certificate.
I gotta do a story with that.
This is important.
I moved from Minnesota to Wisconsin. The first time I went to Wisconsin, the Packers played the Vikings in football and knew. And that's when we got into the church. And so the next week I got up and I said, I'm really sorry about letting you guys out late for the, and I paused. And then I said the Viking game. 150 people booed their pants. Some of the people never got over the fact that they booed their parents. It was great. The sound was there. Oh, I'm sorry, you're a Packer fan. I grew up in Decorah, Iowa, with the Vikings. So, you know, thank you.
Well, I think I had Elton to thank for having getting a pair of socks for Christmas one year too, right? One sock was a Vikings and the other was a Packers. Somebody else got that. I think we finally found each other and exchanged. Anyway, yeah, a lot of fun. I actually, when I did Bible study here for a long time, I had my Green Bay Packers mug here, and then I started hearing rumors that it was going to disappear or just be destroyed. So I finally took it home for safekeeping. But anyway, anyone else?
I'm very grateful for the fact that you guys always did VBS. I'm very grateful that you guys did VBS because our kids got to be with their cousins, and we got to hang out with cousins while that went on. And over the years, that was part of our kids growing up. And we didn't go to church here every Sunday, but it helped our kids connect with their cousins here. And I'm very grateful for that because that was a special part.
Here.
Yeah, well, music is a big part of my life, and a lot of that credit has to go to the Carol and the Madison family. And in this congregation is where a lot of us learn how to sing in harmony. We have Norris over here leading the bass group, and Kimmy Madison doing the tenors. And of course, we had Luetta and Arliss Burry. And we had all 4 parts there, and you always had that anchor that you could find your part and try to sing along. And I was always jealous so long of Norris and that nice deep bass voice. And I never had that. Well, I kind of have it now on Sunday mornings. Today I got it down there. I was impressed. So, I think of Norris every time, with that good golden bass voice that he had. And then when I got old enough, I got to play trumpet with the Madison group. And we'd stand up there, and I would miss my D sharps. And I would miss, I'd throw my clunkers out there. But it really, really tested me. And I owe a lot to the Madisons and Highwater. So, my 2 cents.
I want to say a word about Norris as well, because for the first number of years here, I would just tell, when I visited with other pastors, I would talk about the 2 Norrises I had, because I had Norris Hyvee at Old Westbrook and Norris Madison here, and they both had the war stories, right? I mean, and I came to learn that after I'd been here a while. Again, that greeting every Sunday, how you doing? And it was always peaceful. And I finally had to ask him, well, what's that about? And, I don't know, maybe all of you know this, but his war story, World War II, he talked about how he was a pilot in the Pacific, and from his first mission, every mission he'd gone out on, the lead pilot had been shot down. It was like every time they went into a dive, every gun in the place was pointed at the lead pilot. And he said, that happened mission after mission after mission, and all of a sudden, one day, I was the lead pilot. And he, huh?
The rest leads were killed. He was next in line.
Yeah.
He was ready to go.
Yeah.
Until, go ahead.
Well, as he got to the moment, what he said is he got to the moment he started to dive, and in that moment, he had such a feeling of peace come over him. And, this is part of, how do we look for? How do we go and look for happiness? How do we go and look for peace or joy or other things? And one of the amazing stories, because where you find those things is not where you look for them. I mean, that's the sense of the hand of God at work in the world, in our lives. And for Norris, it was in that moment of absolute crisis, life and death, right? I mean, it's like after what he's seen, there's nothing but death in this moment, and yet peace. And then when he actually died, sitting out in the wheelbarrow, getting a little sun, and I should let my wife share his last words with her.
Go ahead, come on.
I think Terry said to him that we're really going to miss you. And he said, I'm sure you will. Anyone else?
Well, okay, what the amen to that is, my last words was, because I can talk, but I can listen to it, because Chris and I did that all the time. And Dad was singing with my brother Mark, Mark's voice, right? He's still here. And his doctor, Dr. Joyce, was the one that said, Dad, you always have a backdoor provision in the hospital. He was ready to go. He was ready to go be with Mom. And so they sang the duet. Well, at the funeral, he was going to come and sing with Mark that duet, but he was delivering 4 babies that morning. But his last word to me, I was sick, Paul had an appointment. We come in and they're singing together the night before the funeral, and we all found out the rest of the story. And his words to me was, get on with your life, Howard.
I just want to have say kind of more of a group. We were blessed. Craig was to grow up in this church. I came as a newcomer going in for 5 years. So I don't have quite the memories. We talked to Craig, he talks about how Adolf, his grandfather, was treasurer when the church burnt down. And the thing was back then, you maybe gave your offering once a year. And as a result, the treasurer, who was Adolf at the time, had to make sure that year's income matched the expenses. And if he didn't, the treasurer was expected to make up the difference to the money he had. So his first visit right after the fire was, did the insurance get paid? And it was. But from there, we are at the treasure of knowing not only the stories of his grandfather, his father, and Craig and Susan, that's here too. And all of the contributions that the Patrolmans and many others here have done. But right down to my daughter, Wendy, as she was growing up, she says, Mom, if I could have one wish, I wish that I could have a high water shower. Because if it wasn't for Arliss and Marlis and Luetta and the many names that you could name, who made showers so fun. It was wonderful. And she was very fortunate. I just want you to know, Wendy, who's been married 20 years now, did get high water showers. Life is good.
I need to say a word about Roger Raven too, because I had him in Bible study for I don't know how many years. He'd come on Sunday nights, and we went through Genesis and Exodus, and then we moved on to Hebrews and I think Romans, 3 years in Romans. I think we were about the third year in Romans. We'd ask Roger something, and we'd ask him a question, and he'd turn and he'd say, "Are we still in Exodus?" But Roger and Marlis made quite an effort, when COVID hit and we tried to start that Bible study going again on Zoom. We're still doing Zoom. I'm glad it's there for people who can't come, but there isn't the same conversation and participation in that Zoom format. But Roger, I just remember Roger and Marlis sitting there at their kitchen table, trying to get on, and where they're sitting in the pictures, and they had to work hard to get on and find the site and the link and that electronic stuff. For some people that's a whole new world that they're not sure they want any part of, I think. So anyway, we enjoy, still doing Bible study. Carol joins, and then she calls Lois and Galen Wetter, and they listen on the phone from her Zoom connection in her house. So where's Lois? Lois is here somewhere too, right? Yeah. Yes.
I'm so new that you don't want to remember me.
Oh. Well, I remember your eggs. For how long we got eggs from you. Oh my, was that a treat and a blessing. And Terry got to have a place to get rid of all of the garbage too. Yeah.
Greetings from Galen today. I asked if I could say that. He said yes. Hello from Galen. And I want to say I was at college to the church. I can't believe how long we're here. But I knew the Norwegians were different from the Germans. And sometimes I felt this. I told him about it. We're one big family. We're one big clique. I'm trying to get in. Thank you. We have had a good year this year. Thank you so much, everyone.
Say something about Roger. He told my dad was sick in bed. Roger come over and visited one day. He walked in the room and Roger tied out. My dad get out of bed. Here, make Roger fell in bed too. He walked in the room. They're both laying in bed together. Roger's always been coming to visit my dad. You think what people have died in the last 2 years has been 8 people within 5 miles of this place. gonna die to my brother's uncle. It's really, really, you think about it, it's pretty, a lot of items going to fields, water, your mother. In the area, there's kind of overwhelming. There's a lot of memories. We had a big Sunday class, we had 8 kids in our class, 8 or 9, 8 and 9. And the one year we even had our aunt as a teacher. She was our teacher. So that was kind of challenging some days. You had to be good or you didn't hear about it when you got home. You had to behave, you know. When you're naughty in church, we sit up in the second row and when we were naughty, my mom would get mad and she would actually start pinching us. She pinched us and we get out, it wasn't good. We learned to whistle. Everybody learned to whistle one time. I learned how to whistle in church. In the second row and I started whistling. My mom gave me a helmet. She didn't even practice anymore.
Okay, I'm getting signals from the back, so I guess we're ready to eat. So I think we're going to do table grace.
Right.
You want to play that, Shirley? Or?
Here.
Oh, Carol. She's ready. Instructions were we're getting ushered out, right? So relax and you'll get told on.